Hey everyone, good morning. My name is Dan Bostrom. I'm the Member Engagement Manager at the Reaching Across Illinois Library System. My presentation for you today is called How Rails Can Help Your School Library Thrive. I'm excited to be included in this Lake County ROE presentation, and I'm hoping I can be a resource for you all summer long, so you can always contact me, and I've got my information at the end of these slides. So let's jump in. And before I start my presentation, I'm just going to say that I've uploaded some documents alongside this, and I want to explain them a little bit. So all three of these documents should help you as school libraries and school library leaders. The first is the My Library is Talking Points document, and this is more of an advocacy piece. This is more for library professionals, kind of how you can make the case for your library services and the services that you provide, both in the community and in the school. That's something you can download. It's a two-page document. It's fully formatted. It's a really nice thing to print and hand out to people who might not know what a school library does. The next is a new librarian checklist. I'm going to be going through a lot of different services that Rails offers today, and I've had a lot of people say, "Wow, that's a lot." I would like some sort of checklist, and this is actually where you can go and you can check down exactly what you're taking advantage of and what you're not taking advantage of, because there's a lot out there. The last is kind of a new school library worker welcome letter, and whenever we get notification of a new school librarian in one of our districts, we try to send these. And these are a great way to, again, just sort of a reinforcement of the things that are on the checklist. Some real important stuff that you should do kind of right away, and I'll talk more about those things as we go along in the presentation. But please check out these documents. I will also upload a copy of this presentation, so you have that directly into the folder. So and again, always feel free to reach out to me with any questions. Okay, let's jump in. The Reaching Across Illinois Library System. So what is a library system, and how does it fit in the ecosystem of schools and school districts in Illinois? So uh, it's actually based in Illinois law. There's something called the Library System Act, which provides for the creation of library systems. It says encourage the improvement of free public libraries to encourage cooperation among all types of libraries, school libraries included, and promoting the sharing of resources. So, back in 1967, when all got implemented, there were 18 library systems, and now that there are only 3 in Illinois. So, we act a little bit like a regional office of education, except for we're very much consolidated. So instead of being on that 3, 4 county level, sometimes one county like Lake County, we serve 48 counties in the state of Illinois, and most of those are kind of in the northern half. And everything south is part of something called Illinois Heartland Library System, and then the Chicago Public Library, which is actually its own system, is only obviously only for public libraries. So we are multi-type, which means we serve schools, public libraries, academic libraries, and specialized libraries. So we get all of our funding through the Illinois State Library, which is part of the Secretary of State's office. Almost all of that goes, or a huge portion of that goes into delivery, and doing interlibrary loan delivery, which I'll talk about in a little bit more later. But as you can see, actually, school libraries make up the largest percentage of our members. It's 44% of our members, and that equates to around 550 school library districts. We also are open to private schools, and those count as their own district for our purposes. Public libraries are a huge part. There are about 400 public libraries that are part of Rails, and then academic special make up around 20% together. So again, we serve around 500 school districts in Illinois. It's a huge amount, and if you haven't heard of us, it's because we serve a lot, and we have a lot to. It's a big reach for us to try to contact every single one. I'll just kind of give you a snapshot of what the membership looks like on a local level. So, a couple things to remember. School library membership is held at the district level. So your district is a member, not individual schools unless they're private. Membership is open to both public and private schools, and membership is free, so you don't pay anything. We get all of our funding from the Secretary of State's office, so it's free to districts. In Lake County, we serve 6 academic libraries, and I can tell you that a couple names that you might know of: Lake Forest College, um, Trinity International, just a couple academic libraries that are participating in Rails. Public libraries, we serve all the public libraries in Lake County, including Lake Forest, Waukegan, Cook Memorial, and a bunch of others. School libraries, there are 48 school libraries in Lake County, and again, that includes public and private schools, and 7 specialized libraries. To give you an example of what a specialized library is, AbbVie, the drug maker, they have a library and they're part of Rails. They're located in Lake County. So it's open to basically anyone that has a library, anyone that has a staff library can have membership in the library system. Okay, so what do we do? We're a library system. We have member libraries. What do we do? I put 6 different categories in here, and I'm going to cover all 6. Interlibrary loan, support for ebooks, grants, continuing education and training, deals and discounts, and networking. All of those things really tie together in one very specific way, and that's resource sharing. Our goal is to promote resource sharing across the state, and we do so in a lot of different ways. So I'm going to talk about all those ways, but just remember, at the heart of everything we do is resource sharing. Okay, let's start with continuing education. And this is a continuing education event. You do continue education in a lot of different ways. I understand that, but I just kind of want to let you know what's available through Rails. So first of all, we host a number of different webinars, mostly on library topics, and they're always free of charge. As long as your school district is a member of Rails, which I'm sure you are, you can access these at any time. And most of the webinars are recorded and viewing for a later date. In some rare instances where the presenter has made them restricted, we obviously can't make them available. We do offer PD hours for those of you who are certified and looking for PD hours, but it's only for a kind of a selected number of webinars. We are not a certified ISB PD provider. So we have to go through other agencies, and those are only for live webinars. Okay, so a couple things. I'm just going to mention some webinars that we've produced in the last 6 months, actually, and a lot of these I think relate very specifically to school library work. So that auditing and collection for diversity and inclusion, that was a webinar that we did back in December, I believe, and it was a couple experts talking about how you can go through your diversity or you go through your collection and identify gaps in terms of diversity and inclusion. And it was a really well-attended webinar, and we got a lot of great feedback from it. Authentic Voices in Children's and Teen Literature was socioeconomics got to do with it. This was presented by a presenter at Kent State University, the School of Library and Information Studies. She went through and talked about different ways that you can look at materials and kind of understand how they might represent the people in your community, the people in your schools. And then the last one was Stop, Look, and Listen, helping students spot the fakes. And this would be a great webinar for, I think, any, especially high school library out there. It was presented by actually a special librarian named Amy Alfeld, who's written several books on kind of spotting fakes in news media and being able to sort of identify what is real and what is not. So any of these are available to you if you do have a Rails account, and I can talk more about how to do that in a second. But you'd be able to access it at any time. These are usually just YouTube videos that are located on our website. They are behind our login wall, but you can also download the slides with them typically. Okay, support for ebooks and e-content. This is a great way that we can support libraries, and we offer both paid and free options for ebooks, so I'll talk about both. One thing I'll note is we're committed to creating, to helping schools and communities create their own cultures of reading and writing, and a lot of times that ties into self-publishing. So if you're not doing anything with self-publishing, that's okay, but I do want to kind of illustrate a couple of ways that we might be able to help. So the first program is eRead Illinois. eRead Illinois is a cooperative program that we offer. Basically, it's a shared catalog of ebooks that over 400 schools and libraries are participating in Illinois. So it's only available through Rails. And I will kind of note right here that the eRead is the program. That's the term we use to kind of describe the general program. Access 360 is the platform, and the platform is created by Baker and Taylor. Baker and Taylor is one one of the largest distributors of books to libraries in the country, and this is their platform. You may have heard of Overdrive Sora app. This is a competitor to Overdrive Sora, and it is a fee-based program, but we've made it as cheap as we possibly can. So by joining eRead, basically you're working together with 400 libraries. We subsidize the cost for you, and you've through the app. You have access to over 60,000 ebook and audiobook titles. Just 2 years ago, we got a grant from the Illinois State Library to put $125,000 worth of materials into our K through 12 collection. So there's a lot in there for students. Again, it's because it's a collaborative program. Your students would be checking out books that other students from other districts across Illinois are also accessing. And there is a way that you can actually scope the collection so that your students don't see materials that are inappropriate for their age group. You would purchase this through Rails. We would bill you directly. And again, it's very affordable. We're pretty transparent about what you'd be charged. There's a formula that you can actually look through on our website, ereadillinois.com. And all the support is done through our office at Rails. Inky.org. Okay, so when I was mentioning free ebooks, this is what I'm talking about. Inky.org is actually a suite of resources. It's available to anyone in Illinois. You don't have to be even associated with the library system. But basically, we're trying to support a culture of reading and writing in Illinois, and specifically locally produced content. So we've made a statewide. We've purchased a statewide subscription to Pressbooks. Pressbooks is a way that you would create your own EPUB version of your books. So for example, if you had a group of high school students who were in a creative writing class and one of their assignment was to create their own book, they could actually transform like a Word document into an EPUB version, which is the universally accessible ebook format. And then they could actually upload it to our Indie Illinois collection. That's kind of our collection of ebooks that are created from other libraries in Illinois. And that collection is also available for free to anyone in the state of Illinois. So you don't need to log in. You don't need any sort of user account or password or anything like that. You just go to inky.org and you can access everything. And we've got a lot of libraries out there who are involved in helping kind of create this community. There's actually an award for the best self-published ebook in Illinois. It's called the soon-to-be-famous Illinois Author Award. And it's just a really cool thing I think libraries are doing, trying to support ebook creation and support more creative writing in the state of Illinois. So check that out, inky.org. It's a very cool website. Okay, so I'm next going to talk a little bit about catalog support and interlibrary loan. Before I do this, I'm just going to mention there aren't a ton of school libraries in Illinois doing interlibrary loan, honestly. Interlibrary loan is the practice of borrowing from other libraries. And if you're not borrowing from other libraries, that's totally fine. You're not doing anything wrong. I understand it's not in the goals of a lot of school libraries, but I'm just saying that by being part of the system, you can do it. It is available to you. That statement right there, all interlibrary loan delivery in the state of Illinois is free. That's a real statement, and that is our guarantee to you, is that you have access to interlibrary loan from any library in the state of Illinois, and I'll kind of explain how in a little bit. And we do also offer grants to help schools join shared catalogs, and again, I'll also talk about that. So interlibrary loan, it's a little bit of a mysterious thing. If you're not a librarian, you might not know as much about it and how it works. So I wanted to kind of separate the two things for a second here. How does interlibrary loan work? So first, interlibrary loan, again, the practice and process of requesting items from or providing them to another library. And you can see that picture of those trucks. Those are our trucks. Again, Rails has a big portion of our budget dedicated to interlibrary loan delivery. We have trucks on the road every day of the week. And they are shuttling materials back and forth to our sorting centers and also to our member libraries. So this is a service provided to any district out there. We will deliver materials to you. We only deliver to them one location within the district. So usually it's like the district office or the high school or something like that. And we do also do an interlibrary loan through different methods. So sometimes it's our delivery vehicles. Sometimes it's something called the community delivery partnership, where actually we deliver the materials for your school to your local public library, and you have to go pick them up at your public library. Sometimes that works out really nicely because the school is right next door to the public library, and so that's just an easier way to do things. We also have something called on-demand delivery, where you can actually request that one of these vans comes out and picks up materials or drops off materials. And then we can also reimburse you for items that are shipped through the mail. So it's a really cool thing. Again, we guarantee that any interlibrary loan that is done in the state of Illinois is done for free. That's part of the promise of being part of the system. Okay, so catalog resources. And let me just say that the way that most interlibrary loan is done is through a catalog, a shared catalog. So not a lot of schools out there are part of a shared catalog. So I'm just gonna mention this real quickly. It might not be something you're interested in doing, but we have a grant that allows you to become part of a shared catalog. Mostly public libraries are part of shared catalogs, and they do pay for it. This is something that you would have to pay for, but the grant can help you a little bit. So basically, the grant pays for the first year of membership, along with any associated startup costs. And we also ask that you have a plan to cover membership fees for at least 5 years. A lot of libraries, as soon as I tell people this, a lot of libraries are like, okay, well, great. How much does that cost? I can't really give you an estimate. That's up to the specific shared catalog. We work with six different shared catalogs in the Rails region. And so we would identify the closest one to you, the one that would be willing, probably the cheapest and the best option for you. And then you would pay based on a formula that they've developed. So if you're interested, I would suggest looking this up on our website. You can kind of find more information and start conversations. It's a long process to join a shared catalog, but it can be a very rewarding one if doing interlibrary loan is something you want to do. We also offer cataloging resources from Rails, and this is a way that you would sort of, figure out how to catalog materials within your own home catalog. So we offer classes, competencies, and actually there's a special project that helps libraries to catalog world language materials. So if you are a school that has materials, especially Asian Pacific Islander, non-European language materials that you are having a lot of difficulty cataloging within your own school catalog, get in touch with us. We can help you out with that. And that is offered at no cost to member libraries. Actually, one thing that I'm going to mention here that's not on here, and I'm just going to go back real quickly and say, some school libraries are doing interlibrary loan through something called OCLC. If you are doing it through OCLC, that's great. That's a great way to connect. That's just interlibrary loan facilitation software. We also have a competitor to that called Find More Illinois, and I'll mention this just real briefly. We don't have a lot of libraries, school libraries participating in it, but it is something you can join. It's priced very similarly to OCLC. It's around 40 libraries in Illinois, mostly public and academic libraries, but it's a way that you would do a facilitation of interlibrary loan. It is something you would pay for, but again, it's very affordable and similarly priced to OCLC. Okay, networking and communications. So as a system member, you are connected to over 1,300 other Illinois libraries. And this is there's a lot of ways that you can share ideas, programs, tools, and a lot more. And I'm going to kind of illustrate those right now. So internally within Rails, we have over 40 job and topic specific email lists. And I would highly recommend the first one up there, that schools list. We have 150 subscribers. I know a lot of school librarians are subscribed to the AIL, the Association for Illinois School Library Educators email list. And that is a free list that you can also sign up for. That is actually hosted through Rails on Rails servers. And that's something that's a great way to kind of exchange ideas and communicate with other people. I would highly suggest subscribing to any of these other ones. These are, ones that are kind of tied into school libraries: equity, diversity, inclusion, makerspace, young adult library services, youth services, and then marketing and public relations. You can see huge networks, over 500 people subscribing to each of those. And those are a great way to find new ideas, find out kind of the latest trends, find out what other libraries are doing. And you do need your L2 username and password. Again, I mentioned that in connection to the continuing education materials, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second here. Okay, so what is L2? L2 is called Library Learning. It's our library directory and learning calendar. I'm going to jump out here in a quick second and kind of show you how to access it. But it's a really cool tool because you can find any Illinois library by type, by city, by county, by population range, by legislative district, whole different ways. And it's also a calendar where you find out a whole bunch of events that are going on. You can see that's the month of March on there. I counted 93 events on the month of March. So it's a whole community of library networking groups, library consortia, library shared catalogs, governance, continuing education webinars, a whole bunch of things. And so this is what it looks like. This is, if you come to the homepage, you see welcome to L2 Library Directory and Learning Calendar. Hold on, I'm going to jump out real quick. Okay, so if I come to librarylearning.org, this is what it looks like. I can search the directory, and actually I can find every single school library in Rails. So I want to do school. Oops, sorry, I want to do advanced search. I want to search Rails. I'm going to search library type school. I'm going to click building type main, and I'm going to select county, lake. And then I'm going to hit apply. And I can find every single member of Rails and contact information for every single one of those districts in Rails. And that's a great way to find other libraries and kind of communicate with them. It gives me a lot of information about your delivery. It gets your address. It gives me your contact information. So you should all have access to this. You might not know that you have access to it, but if you are working at one of these school districts, you do have access to this. This is also how you do your annual certification, which I won't get into too much in detail here, but it's how you maintain your membership with Rails. I said Rails membership is free. That's true, but you also have to do certification every single year. That's how you kind of pay for your membership in a way. Okay, so that's a little bit about L2. I hope you will all go and get your individual accounts within your districts via L2 after this. Okay, grants. This is a great way that we can help you. And this is a way that a lot of school libraries take advantage of Rails resources is they apply for grants. So you have access to 2 specific Rails grants, and I'll talk about those. But then you can also apply for by being a member of the system, you can also apply for the something called the School District Library Grant. And I'll mention that in a little bit. Okay, so the first grant that is available through Rails is called the CE Event Grant, and it's a way that you can actually get your own continuing education from Rails, but you come up with the topic. So basically, we're asking you, what do you want to know about? What do you want to get training on? And it's up to $2,000. You would identify your own speaker. Say you were looking for somebody who's an expert in makerspaces. Your school district was developing makerspaces within the school library. We could pay for the speaker. We could host on our Zoom account, which has seat license up to 1,000 seats. We could help you do promotion. We would just ask that you'd open it up to other school libraries and that it would be available to other Rails members. So this is a great opportunity for you all to take advantage. This is for you, the school libraries, not for your students. But it's a really cool way that you can have access to great continuing education that's almost personalized for you. This is a grant, unfortunately, that just finished up. We're just awarding these right now as I'm talking in June 2022. But it's called the My Library Is Grant for School Libraries. It's up to $5,000 for projects that will help to tell the story of the library. So in the past, we funded projects that, where the school's purchasing 3D printers, they want to purchase video equipment, they want to bring more students into their school library for a number of different ways. So basically, it's focused on marketing, advocacy, outreach, getting out there to the rest of the school and saying the library is a place where a lot is happening, where people are making a difference, where students are learning new skills, where we're kind of connecting people in a really cool way. And this can be connecting students, teachers, students and parents, whole different ways. So we will have another round next spring, spring 2023. I will say that we awarded, this is kind of breaking news here, we awarded $78,000 worth of grant funds this year to libraries all over our region. So it's a really cool way to kind of capitalize on ideas that you've had for a long time. $5,000 will buy you a lot. So I do hope you all apply for it next year. It's a really cool opportunity. Okay, the Illinois State Library also offers a school district grant, as I mentioned. It's called the School District Library Grant. It's 88 cents per pupil, 88.5 cents per pupil, and you must be part of a library system to participate. Almost everybody does. You'd be a fool not to, but I do mention it because it's a really great reason to be part of the system. And the minimum amount, so some of the smaller school districts will say like, oh, that's not much, we don't have a huge, the minimum amount you can actually get is, I believe, $850. So it's a really great opportunity for you to, even if you don't do anything else with the system, do this, because you will be guaranteed to get the funds from the Illinois State Library. And applications typically open in fall. They're typically due in October. I haven't seen any information about when they're going to be open yet, but you can use them for anything in connection to the school library. They're really great. So do take advantage of this. It's there for it. So. Okay, deals and discounts. I mentioned a lot of ways that we could sort of help save you money, and this is just another one. So a lot of the vendors that you already work with, we're working with, and they can really help you save a lot of money. And I'm going to mention two types of deals. One is the kind of the group purchase. I already mentioned an example of the group purchase, eRead Illinois, the ebook catalog that I mentioned. That's an example of group purchase because we basically buy from the vendor. We buy from Baker and Taylor, and then we bill you as a library. So we're kind of saving money that way. And the other is a direct vendor discount where you basically work directly with the vendor. We've just negotiated a percentage off of specific items. So I put a number of different vendors out there that you might be familiar with: Backstage Library Works, EBSCO, ProDart, Comics Plus, Gaylord Brothers, Janway, the Library Store, Midwest Tape, Tumble Books, Vernon Library Supplies. These are all very common vendors. A lot of them are equipment or furniture, or supplies for libraries. Some of them are software providers and database aggregators. We can help out with that. We don't have the best resources. The big publishers of those research databases, they don't always like to discount their products that much. So I would suggest taking a look. Our deals and discounts page is also something that's behind the L2 login wall. So if you don't have that L2 login, you're not going to be able to access it. So that's another reason why you would need another one, that you would need yours. But there's a full kind of explanation of the deals and discounts on there, plus product demos. A lot of times when we work with a new vendor, we'll work with them to kind of do a demo that you can sign up for, or that you can watch after the fact directly from our website. So there's a huge breadth of different deals and discounts that we offer. One question that I always get, and I talked about this a little bit, is like, can you get us a deal on a specific database for students, research database for students? And sometimes the answer is no, but sometimes it's yes. I will say that one thing that we've worked on for a long time, and I can't guarantee that this is ever going to happen, but we would love to have a statewide access to a specific suite of database resources for students. We don't have this right now. A lot of other states have this. If you've come from Wisconsin or Indiana or a whole bunch of other places, they've basically gone together as a state and purchased like a Gale or EBSCO or something like that, where students can access it from wherever they are. That saves so much money. I don't know why Illinois is not doing this yet. We've contacted our legislators. Contact your legislator if you want this, but it would save everybody a lot of money. Unfortunately, it just hasn't been something that we've been able to do as a state yet. But I'm hoping it's on the horizon. This is one thing that we desperately need, because right now all your individual school districts are paying for that individually, which is crazy. It would save us tens of millions of dollars in order to do this if we just did this centrally as a state. So unfortunately, we're not doing that right now. I hope that we can in the future, but that's always a question that I get from folks. So those are kind of those are kind of my topics that I was going to mention, and I'm just going to kind of give you a couple other things, a couple other ways that we can sort of help you, and I'll talk a little bit about these just very briefly. So the first one is the My Libraries campaign, and I mentioned this at the very beginning. You're going to see that My Library is a talking points document. So we have a campaign to help the libraries tell their story, and school libraries are a great example of this, because sometimes it's difficult to explain what you do as a school librarian. How do I make the case to principals, administrators, superintendents, school board members, parents, teachers, whoever? How do I make the case to them that I'm valuable, that the resources that I offer are valuable? So we created a whole website with a suite of different resources for you. We put together best practices, blog articles, downloadable talking points like that one that you're seeing, graphics and images, videos, a lot of different stuff. It's called mylibraries.org. It's run specifically from Rails. We do a lot of events around this. We try to really harp on this as a topic that libraries could use. So check that out. We also put together, I know that this has been a big topic for school libraries across Illinois, is materials challenges. So we actually put together kind of a resource page, and it's directly on our website. It's at railslibraries.info. And it's just a button that says materials challenges. And there you can also download things like videos, articles, resource guides, policies. So if you don't have a collection development policy, you can actually download one from a member library. And then a lot of links to other outside resources from places like the American Library Association, the Illinois Library Association, IMLS, which is the Institute for Museum and Library Services, the federal organization for libraries in Washington, D.C. So there's a lot on there. We know that this is kind of a difficult time. We try to support you as much as possible. If you've seen challenges, let us know. We want to know about it. We want to be able to help you as much as possible. So that is my presentation. Looks like I did it in just under half an hour, which is great. I'm just going to send out some reminders about a couple things that that you should do right after this presentation. So first of all, if you don't have an L2 account, go get one. It's a really easy way to set up. I'll kind of take you back there just to show you how to do it after this. You can sign up for our email list. That's a great way to stay in touch with us. Sign up for our weekly e-news, and that's open to anybody. You can be a teacher, administrator, school board member, whoever. So that's a great place to find out what's happening around the system. You can access live and recorded webinars. That's a great way to take advantage of what we have to offer. And then I mentioned all those grants that we can offer you. So please do take advantage of all of these things. It's a great way to, again, stay in touch with us, to remember what's going on with the system. I put my contact information on here. You're welcome to contact me at any time. I've done a lot of presentations to other ROEs. I speak to individual school districts at times, depending on the size. I'd be happy to come to events in person if you want me to. I do things over Zoom. I'm always happy to touch base about what Rails is and what Rails does. That's me without the beard. Okay, so last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you again how to get your L2 username and password. So I'm going to sign out here, and I'm going to show you. Okay, this is what you'll see when you log into the Rails to the L2 website, and you're going to come to log in. You're going to go create an account. What you're going to do is you're going to put your full name on here, your email address, and then create a password, and that will create your account. Now, that's not the last step you have to do. You're going to get an email, and you have to actually click on the email, and then that creates your account. And then the step after that is you're going to have to affiliate with your district. So basically, you are creating the connection between your account and your district, because again, the membership is at the district level. Your account is associated with that district, and that will give you access to everything on the Rails website. And your L2 username and password works on the Rails website. I mentioned that materials challenges tab right there. It'll give you access to all the other resources I mentioned. You can see I'm logged in. This is my L2 information, and you're going to see a lot of other resources on here and a lot of other things that you can take advantage of. So once you get that L2 information, start browsing through our website. Sign up for those email lists, which are found right there. Look for Continue Education, which is right there, CE Archives, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can access. So I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you so much for the time. Please feel free to reach out to me. I really hope you enjoyed today's presentation, and enjoy the rest of your summer. This is a great event. I'm always happy to be part of things like this. So take care. Have a great one.